Hi Taurus, welcome to your reading. If you're new to the channel, I do timeless readings, which means that whenever you find this video is when you're meant to hear the messages within it. And in case you subscribe, I upload my new videos for Taurus and Scorpio on Tuesdays. But I do just want to let you guys know, in case you're interested, the deck that I'm using today is called the Kawaii Tarot. That's K-A-W-A-I-I. And as always, if you guys are interested in getting a personal reading, my information is in the description below. Also, just a heads up on how I shuffle my cards. I usually only take cards that jump out, so sometimes the cards have a habit of flipping over in the deck. I do see them, but like I said, I only take the cards that jump. And usually if they jump out in groups that are too big, I'll go ahead and put them back into the deck and continue shuffling. But my main goal here is to get you guys roughly 8 or 9 cards, and then we can get started on your reading. So it looks like we have 7 cards, so I'm just going to continue shuffling until we roughly get 1 or 2 more, and then we can get started. So with this full card, it looks like we have all 8 cards. And just before we get started, I do just want to give you guys a quick reminder that in case you enjoy the reading, the best way to let me know is by leaving a like or a comment. But your overall energy here is the Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Cups is all about being emotionally satisfied, I would say. This is a person who is in touch with their emotions and is emotionally mature. And I think that more than that, they're able to really use their empathy in order to understand other people. I think that for a lot of you guys, you've really made a habit of surrounding yourself with people that maybe don't understand you. But with this Queen of Swords here, sorry, it's Queen of Cups, you have a lot more of that empathy and understanding. I do just want to say that the Queen of Swords, like I just mentioned, well, first of all, she's down here. But the Queen of Swords is a little bit more cold and detached and distant when it comes to their emotions. So it feels like to me that this is a huge change, a huge kind of like mix-up from what you maybe in the past have been used to. And obviously for some of you that might not necessarily ring true, but I think that there is definitely a much bigger emotional impact or focus on your emotions right now than ever before, I would say. I feel like now is a time where you guys are really trying to mature and really trying to grow emotionally. Whereas in the past, that may have taken sort of a backseat to money or education or whatever it is that you were currently, currently had on your mind at that time. But I do just want to bring up the fact that we have the King of Wands, the King of Swords with the Queen of Swords. So there is some very important symbolism and importance when we have both the King and the Queen of a suit, because the King and the Queen are inherent soulmates. They're basically made for each other because they're a part of the same suit. So for a lot of you guys, I think that you're really experiencing a kind of connection that you really hadn't really experienced before. Even if it's with somebody from the past, the connection itself feels so new and so fresh and relaxing in a lot of ways. This person just seems to get you. They just seem to understand you. And that's the energy that you have when you have the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords together. And furthermore, with the King and the Queen of Swords in particular, you have that symbolism of the swords as well, which is representative of everything that has to do with the mental realm. I'm also getting legal for a lot of you guys. That might be important. But I think that you guys think on the same wavelength. The way that you communicate and the way that they do just makes you guys understand each other. I think that for a lot of you guys, you might actually have what's the word? Conjunct Mercuries, or like the Mercury in the same sign. Especially if you guys have like sun positions that are like sextile to each other, right? But that's more astrological. Either way, I feel like you guys understand each other. You guys can communicate in a way that makes you feel comfortable and makes you feel seen and makes you feel important. And with this Queen of Pentacles here, like, I see almost all of the elements. I see swords, Pentacles and Cups, which Cups are representative of water signs, which are Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. Then we have the Swords, which are representative of Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And then we have the Pentacles, which represent Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So if you guys don't have any of those signs in your chart, it doesn't really matter. It's just that, well, you probably will, just statistically because of how many elements there are. But like I was saying, it's just like the kind of energy that I see. I see the emotions, I see the stability, and I see the mental, with this Swords energy. It feels like you guys are just on the same mental wavelength. So it feels like you guys can get this mental exercise with each other. Like you can banter back and forth and communicate in a way that makes you feel comfortable and makes you feel like you're sharpening your edge, your mental edge. And I think that for a lot of you guys, that's been very important because I see this Eight of Swords in reverse. And the Eight of Swords is all about a card where you feel like you're trapped, where you feel like things aren't necessarily free-flowing or like you're independent. It feels like you're trapped, like you can't do anything. And the fact that it's in reverse tells me that you guys are feeling a lot more free-spirited and a lot more open to the way things are flowing in this connection. And I think that that in part has to do with the communication, because again, we have that symbolism of the swords, which can represent heavy communication. And normally I wouldn't necessarily hyper focus so much on the fact that it's the Eight of Swords, but because we have both the King and the Queen here, to me it feels a lot more significant. And with this Eight of Swords, I feel like you guys are really able to say what's on your mind. I think that in the past, you maybe have dealt with partners where you couldn't really say what was on your mind without them feeling like you were attacking them, or they would instantly go into a mode that was very combative or aggressive. And now it feels like you can openly say like a joke and then they'll joke back and you guys can get each other. Especially with this Queen of Pentacles here, because it feels like there's that stability, there's that rock energy. Like you guys aren't feeling like you're not able to communicate well or like up in the air or whatever. And if I'm talking a lot about communication, it's because it's very important. Because I see this Eight of Wands here, and the Eight of Wands is all about that communication. It's called the Arrows of Love. And when you have the Eight of Wands, it's very symbolic of fast communication between two people, or at least in this case, particular two people. And I'm expecting that for a lot of you guys, perhaps in the past, like you've talked to people, like this to me feels very much like a romantic connection. You know, the King and the Queen, or sorry, this is the King, this is the Queen. First of all, soulmates. Second of all, arrows of love. You know, you can see like in the little lollipop, like those are hearts. They're depicted as hearts. So it feels very much like love to me. And it feels like in the past, I think that a lot of you guys maybe have had partners that didn't text very fast or whatever, and it just felt kind of like a pet peeve. But now it feels like the communication is so wrapped up and is so well, that this is really what is making the connection stay afloat. Because I do see some kind of trouble with the Five of Cups here. I think that there's something that perhaps, you know, you knew someone else or your ex or whatever, that they did better or they were better at this, or this one doesn't have a car and the last one did, whatever. But the Five of Cups is a card all about making the best out of a situation. So I think that for a lot of you guys, you were really trying to, you know, fight for this connection. Even though I don't see like the Seven of Wands, I feel the Seven of Wands. I feel like you guys are trying to fight for this connection because it's very important to you, and it feels like you guys want it to work out, because you have the connection has these positive qualities that feel very important to you. My only advice here is be careful of entering this Nine of Coins in reverse energy. The Nine of Coins in reverse, or the Nine of Pentacles in reverse, it just depends on how you pronounce it or what you want to call it, is a card all about independence and all about staying strong by yourself and being financially stable and all that. And when it's in reverse, it can talk about codependency or just dependency in general. So be careful. Don't lose yourself in this connection. Use this connection to be sort of that cherry on top in your life. And do move forward with this person. Like, don't be afraid to like, okay, I'm not going to tell you to go off and run and sign leases back and forth, but don't be afraid to start new beginnings, but do think them over and make sure that you're not starting new beginnings for the wrong reason here with the Fool card and the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. But that was your reading first time around. Taurus, if you guys enjoyed, please leave a like or a comment because it really helps out the channel, and I personally really love to know if these readings resonate with you guys. But like I said before, I upload my new videos for Taurus and Scorpio on Tuesdays, but in the meantime, you guys are more than welcome to watch any of my other timeless readings that I have up on the channel. And with that being said, I hope to see you guys next time for next reading.